Don't you think the word potato sound nice? Like potato, potato, potato. Smash, smash potato. Oh, this room has been too long, it hasn't changed in the slightest though. It's been some 6 months, huh, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. Over to again. I didn't know when you might return and I wanted everything to be as you left it. The mess, the dust. It's been more than 6 months, it's true. So is your father alright, Susie? What happened? Yeah, he's fine. My father? Yes, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that wasn't why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right, so I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you. That was a trick. My father is in fine health, and obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It was quite by accident of being able to return to Europe, actually. Accident? It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Sciences Symposium. The International Forensic... That's the same symposium that strangled me in jail. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't fulfilled yet my promise to you, Iris. What promise? What are you talking about? You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. Yes, of course, I shall. And there's one other thing. Something you wrote into your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you know who? About Kazuma. I know. I'll tell you all that I can. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a high chance that they never found the body, isn't it? Anyway, back to Britain! When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. Well, would it be so hard? It's a 100-day journey, it's quite far away. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. What awful trial? Oh yes, for the murder of Giselle Briat. So we know that she died. Oh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing. I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Bruno? Yes, I suppose so. I want to play of being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe. I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you are 10 years old, Iris. No mustache is good enough. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Mr. Sato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back in Japan. So your letter was something to do with convicts' loot. We found it in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. That's right. A very large dog collar. We found it, the bee emblem on it. So it was a dog collar. I thought it was like something else. It was like, what the hell? I don't know. You see, Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar with a report that he submitted about his time in Britain. Huh, there's a drawing? I understand that when my father saw the report, he returned as white. He turned white as a sheet. Why will that be then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. He's the Japanese guy. He's the Japanese guy. He's the Japanese guy. Can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. It's the Japanese guy. I knew it was Mikotoba. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answer for myself. I decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Liars. Liars, everyone. Susie. That's very meaningful. Look, Susato-san is giving Iris there. How do you know the title of the Hound of Barksville? Well, Sarah mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries will attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father, the judge Jigoku, have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikotoba is leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? Judge, you say? Yes, His Excellency, Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You mean Martin, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year in the Supreme Court, you can't possibly have forgotten. Go. Terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder. Ah, yes. I try to think of that as a supposedly turning point in my life these days. Positivism. Well, it was Judge Jikoku who presided over the trial. And Madayo. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy to never see that man's face again in my entire life. Oh well, anyway, as father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain. No. It won't actually arrive until next month, but well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded him with a main and he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about the symposium. Even though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. That is very important. Yes, it is. Forensics. But it is, yes, as I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General, the most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create a whole finance policing institution. That's what my father said anyway. Apparently, it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikado know Lord Strongheart personally then? I wonder. Yeah, nothing. Probably nothing. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about his very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to leave early on and didn't really listen to much of it. No time for you. Giselle Brett, the woman whose unforgivable action ended into being wrongly accused of the crime I did not commit. The murder of John H. Wilson. So, you see this? This is stinking. Because, like the blue one is stinking. Because we have here in this room Iris. Yes, Giselle Brett, the name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's the name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government intelligence service has been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out the English woman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. Didn't exist? But how can that be? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shenn, S-H-E-N-N. She wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front. What? This is not an English name. Cannot be. Front? What on earth was she then? Miss Shenn. Shenn? Her name is literally all our intelligence service has been able to assert about. Shenn? 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 Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. Is she actually British? It's a complete mystery. Well, that makes no sense. It's not easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. Should that woman be up to? I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. Now she is being killed, while all questions surrounding their existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. Shenn. Is that actually, I don't know. Who on earth was she? And why do I feel that I've heard that name before somewhere? You mean during the... at the end of the first game? After my friend's raid trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. He didn't manage to say it. I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what that went on. In the visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he will never... Wait, what? Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama. What did you learn? He died. After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unlanded at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of consulate staff there. Huh. Should have been, huh? Well, it turned out that his body never arrived! Oh, guess what? Oh! It just disappeared. What? Kazuma's body vanished? The government tried to go over to fire top. It seemed they erected a grave on cliffs by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't here. Did Professor Mikotoba know about this? Yes, it will seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama body as we speak. I just don't believe it. And what is the acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? You feel it in your bones! Confess, Naruto! You know deep in your heart! You know! Okay, I'm sorry. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Buria were definitely strange. How a martial artist like Kazuma will die by clubbering himself to the neck on a bedroom? I mean, after he died, he never saw his body again. Did we? Yeah, we never actually saw the body. Could it be? He actually still alive? Stop it! Nice, Naruhodo! It's too much to bear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about it possibly pains me so very much. I feel in my jelly. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruto. They're gonna kill him. Like, actually kill him. Like, Kazuma-sama was discovered. Mr. Sherman was there, wasn't he? And he definitely examined the body. I remember clearly. Ah, you're right. So if Kazuma had actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sherman had lied to us. But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. I suppose that's true, yes. There is a reason why he was lying to us, isn't it? The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. He wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it, because it turned out not to be true. Then I'd be back to the bottom of the awful pit of despair again. That's what I had to die. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Mrs. Sato. I know she's given the idea, although it's Sato-san we're talking about after all. As usual, there's World War II outside the room. So I probably shouldn't push it now. Katsuma. You little bastard. You're still alive. You must still be alive. It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. About the early critics exploits called The Hound of the Baskervilles. But then Mr. Sean forbade you from publishing it, and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it. So nobody knows anything about it, apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, this little bitch, you knew that the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, sounds exciting. The Hound of Baskerville. You should love to read it. Yeah, we got it. And you wouldn't tell me. Oh, you come to know it! Yes, but I made you promise that I will explain one day, didn't I? No, you didn't! I think it's time. Oh. Guys, will BTS reveal the truth? Will BTS explain everything? Oh! You're gonna tell her? I'm really sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris. You're gonna tell her. The Hound of the Baskervilles! I was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study, and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that... The collar, guys. Makes sense! Oh no! Everything makes sense! Oh no! I'm sure. There is a collar. We found a collar, right? So it must be a hound. So a dog. It was written in English. It read... The Hound of the Baskervilles. So it must be something related with the collar. But someone probably was a person wearing it instead of an actual hound. What? My Baskerville story? Of course, he had no idea that what he was at the time. But father came in and... Susato, what are you doing? Oh, father? Did you look at those pepper? No, I simply read the label, that's all. Well, put it out of your mind. Put it out of your mind! Sorry? We're glad you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about it. Do you understand? And she failed miserably. But what was Iris' manuscript doing in Japan? I don't think it was the manuscript. I had no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word basketballs that day, the title just slipped out. I'll never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Shum's exploits. So it was something that Wilson wrote, probably. I believe it was not a manuscript. When I returned to Japan, I asked my father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions. There was no sign of the big box in his office, too. He burned it already. That was really all I know about it. I no doubt that father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. To explain myself to all of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. Now is everything a little bit more suspicious now, since we don't know what's going on. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating, if you are. I committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Works Museum as well. So you are fully abreast of the situation already, Miss Susato. There's been nothing else, to be honest. Top. I would think our first protocol should be investigating this Mr. Draper, the engineer responsible for building the laboratory machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick. Yes, a conjurer of sorts, by the sound of it. Well known in the fields of science and magic. Then we need to go to arrest him. And beat him up. Well, yes, he must know the truth behind this case. So we really do need to find the man. It sounds like the case of tracking someone down. Ah, vigilantism. Which is job for the police, or a great detective. We're supposed to guess who she might be thinking of, so we need to find Sherlock now? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think. Good idea. Well, best of luck then. Oh, you're not coming? No, eh? I'll go to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. I don't think she's going. But let me know later how you got on, won't you? I think she's going for the manuscript. Because we put some worries into that. It was a little abrupt. The people of the herb market must be strong. I don't think she's going there. What to do? Do you know? I honestly thought I might never have to appear. Okay, you know. Certainly not so soon. It's funny. For the past 6 months, I haven't been able to work in court. Meanwhile, you've been raising storm in Supreme Court judiciary back in Japan. Please, Mr. Naruhodo, I may have been addressed as a man. It was a very reserved performance. So what's your father said in his letter about Ryutaro take it down? He's reserved. Well, anyway, I'm back here in his great capital now. Ready to assist you again, in any way I can. Thank you, Mr. Sato. It's my pleasure, Mr. Naruhodo. Location has been added. Really? Okay. Well, what he's doing? He's writing formulas. Oh my! The whole wall of this cell is covered in these mathematical equations. And you're still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. Who is this young lady? My judicial regional assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I meet a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this will have happened. What do you mean? No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you a rule in court this morning. Oh no. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair, it all happened because I've been such a complete clot. Yes, we can agree with that. Rest of harboring? I don't know what it means. Therefore, I think this is the... Oh, this is the gravity thing. There's the gravity. It's the speed and acceleration, right? This is the difference. I don't know. I actually don't know this formula. I only know this. This is the most simple one. No. Absolutely no idea. DT, difference. We all use different ones, so I don't know which one he's using. Professor Heilbrein, what have you been working on yourself? Oh, haha, you mean the... Oh dear, how embarrassing. Absolutely no idea. I was suddenly struck out by an idea to see and simply had to write it down. What was all I had to hand? Is it some new hypothesis? Something to support super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually. This is my autobiography. Damn, shit. It's boring as hell. The autobiography? I was Diddle and Fiddle by Albert Heilbrein. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with my only odd numbers in an unambitious set of simultaneous equations. Really, I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. So it's going to be a newsletter publication from the next month. Part 1, an odd birth, an odd upbringing. You can't beat a man optimism, that's for sure. Ah, that's kind of interesting. Oh well, for now, would you mind if we talk a little more about the case? I mean, selling book, sorry. Because of the things that happened. Oh yes, of course, I've been working through the numbers. I was Diddle, was Fiddle, but a pair of them. By a husband, and by the Olive engineer, Gripper. We're not going to have to seek through an explanation of the Oldie's equation, are we? Speak, my fellow Albert. Everything I believe in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Husband, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis, even I'm sorry to come to this, there was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end there was nothing worth protecting. Because it was a sham! It was never in my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't, but in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it. You've still done something wrong, logically. It makes no difference if you were aware of it or not. In your instance, poor excuse, the blame still lies with me. Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know. Baruch Dick. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor for the prosecution to establishing its case. No, Baruch wouldn't do something like that. Are you sure about that? I'm sure he genuinely believed in it. Did he? I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial on me. You know why? You want your dad? If the terrible accident happened, nobody will believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution services, not any lawyer even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. Finishing! So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, was anyone under the barack? I'm sure the prosecution will have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. Likelihood. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. My barack insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. Oh, you think that was why he... why he was trying to, you know, condemn you and prosecute you so you go to prison or get... the Collins? I know him very well indeed. It's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But an extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. You say so. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? What does it fit in with the kind of harder soul's idea? See. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I think he did. I'm sorry to say that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper, he written to say my work will benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthusiastic, was so empathetic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal networks, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set of decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it, it wasn't just some small trick. It's a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about her Bourgeois idea, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on very illegal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. Oh my god, it reminds me of a friend of mine. We go through all of that only to be taken for a complete fool. He's too rotten to be alive. He's doing something like that. He's trying to buy as much equipment from failed industry to do research by himself in his garage about on a chemical standpoint of view. You know, I hope he's doing fine. They try to rip him off, but yeah, doesn't have the money. It's terrible. It's easy, I agree. And why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. I really hope to help them out, to be honest. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch the Repair. The engineer. Anjan, yeah? Is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler? Or both? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asman first brought Rapper to meet me at my laboratory. Since then I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that was just about an illusionist. I was like, well, if someone presents you someone that is an engineer, how the fuck you think of them as an illusionist? I don't think it's, well, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was wealth of depth scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man, a genuine scientist, is instantly apparent in the conversation. Oh, I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything to do to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us in his whereabouts? It appears not. I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine, nothing else. Although just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? He has a workshop? Do you have an fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine? Why didn't you just mention it before? And it was a workshop. There's every chance we might find him the man there. There. Yes, once. You understand. It was an enormous place, plenty of room to construct the kinesis machines. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance that we'll find Draper there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure you are not going to want to hear this. I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. How do you know? I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage. Sorry. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. Blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible. The pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that is impossible to obtain in Britain. This indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumes across the world should forget their secrets formally and use that instead. What do you think, Mr. Sato? You the machine for an expert, eh? You the machine. I never use any kind of perfume, Mr. Sato. I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. Especially in Japan. I heard that, I don't know if it's true, but in Japan they don't really like perfume. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop address, Professor. You don't have a business card from Mr. Draper, for example. That was a clearly very cautious person. Whatever. Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look. Let me see that. Let me see that! Throw it into the window, why don't you? Enoch engineer. That's it. Really says all he says. There's no address. Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Okay. That's it? That's it. Wow. These dogs march here. Perhaps it's a machine oil. Yes, possibly Professor Harbury mentioned something about the oil Draper uses, didn't he? That it was specially imported very high quality oil that is possible to obtain in Britain. Yes, that's right, but more importantly, it's more fragrant than the finest perfume, so excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's a tiny amount of here. The smell? Don't know how much it can help. What's the point of having these two things? Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart? I wonder, I've never seen her before. Cling! New character introduction. No? Ah, the young champion of the court. Had some success this morning, I understand. This morning? You throw the entire government into disarray as a result. Thank you. Oh, you mean because of Professor Harry's brain experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's great exhibition. Because the country is being made to look foolish, now politicians are scrambling to respond. Oof. 116 is in the Whitehall as we speak, given an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I am going to cause any trouble. Nobody is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. I think it was much worse if they actually paid them £500 every year. They have an actual financial damage. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. It's scrap metal now, is it? Deal later then, Lord Strongheart. Yes, thank you. Interesting that the British have an extremely Fire Emblem design. I don't know why. Have this strong Fire Emblem my design. I don't know why. What was that? That was Dr. Courtney City? Courtney City? City? Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. City or Cite? I don't know. She led the forensic investigation team handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, asked the coroner office to reevaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensic laboratory. Righto. Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. Though he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. Seven minutes it is. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire police force must become most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago. Now, unofficially of course, they paved the way. Goodness, a year ago. The next month's symposium, I intend to present the result of their work to the world. It's actually very good, efficient. 1 year's little to nothing, trust me. Like, the fact that it took more will be normal. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensic division. Once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be surrounded up and burned in the fires of hell. I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known, to attack our honor and our future. Where was I? He means very word. Dr. Hyde is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensic division at Scotland Yard, she will run it my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikoto. Oh, yes, my lord. Your father should be on a high seas, so to speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan. Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of the next month. Are you acquainted to Longstrong? Longstrongheart? The Professor Mikoto, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mitokuba very well. Makes sense. If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student. 15 years ago! 15 years ago! The timing, it was the year I was born. So yes, 16 years ago in fact. Mikoto was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Chikuko accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctualness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply politeness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think that you were. Mr. Dr. Mikotoba studied forensic at one of London's large hospitals. Saint St. if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Side was also there then, as it happens. Then Dr. Side knows my father, does he? Does she? She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. However, no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years. It's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother in those years, so he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years? It was a rather turbulent time at home. Oh, perhaps father wanted a reason to get away. What do you mean? Why? Well, clearly something that was going on at the time. Divorce paper? Divorcing? I don't know. I want to ask you about Lord Van Zisk, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago. A mass murder known as the Professor. We target the mobiles and royalties, is that right? The Japanese are a true lot. You've done your research well. Oh yes, yes. And you could say it was the very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother Clint Van Zisk was murdered, it was just after your young Barak had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor. Obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing. Rumors quickly spread through the capital. London started to say that whatever Baron Van Zisk went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind. Oh my word. So Lord Van Zisk isn't a Reaper? It's the ghost of his brother? I'm sorry. He's not the Reaper? Oh, it's the ghost of his brother, the Reaper then. It's like... I don't know, it sounds worse. So much worse. Ever since that time he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Oh god. There you go. Oh yes, Lone Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Harboring experimental machine. I'd like your permission to examine the remains if possible. Are you well versed in science then? No, it is slightest. In fact, you could say I was very aware of the subject at all until recently. While the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Side team of forensic aspect will begin their own investigation. I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Thank you! Being able to architect it better than nothing. I'll be able to see it too. Yeah! Your time is up. You have to excuse me now. I'm afraid my next engagement calls. Extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord. I have important matters to attend to in preparation of the symposium. You understand. That's it? Okay, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be the end of the episode. I know, and I hope you enjoy. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope you, I don't know. I hope so many things. I wish for the best, and I hope. Goodbye.